Dalila Mohammed in 4, loves to start fast, and she has gone off quickly, already catching up on those white socks of Ryshkova in lane 5 outside her. Dalila Mohammed third to right in the all-red strip, looking strong at the moment. Now, who rises first? They're halfway down the back straight. It is Mohammed by some way, although Geneve Russell in the yellow there. Fourth from left at the moment, out in lane 6, moving really strongly at the halfway point. Mohammed has got her in her sights though. The American continuing to pour it on there. Mohammed, remember, with a personal best of 51.5 from that Tokyo Olympic final last year, comes into the straight with a little lead here over Russell. Russell may be beginning to tie. Good running in lane 3 too from the Ukrainian Chukuk. But it is still Mohammed who stays clear. Couple of meters clear with 50 to go. Driving hard at the final barrier and beginning to move away. A real dust up to the minor places. Comfortable second there for Chukuk behind Mohammed, but really tight for third place. 54.55.
A little tardy out of the blocks, Femke Bol on this occasion, but already just about into her stride and easing up alongside Geneve Russell, who hasn't started particularly quickly. Her teammate Rochelle Clayton gone much quicker down the back straight, setting the pace for Femke Bol. Ryshkova in lane 4, trying to stay with the tall, rangy Dutch athlete, and Nielsen right on the outside. Just going to have to trust her stride pattern here, and then hopefully she can stay as others gather her up around that top bend. But Femke Bol just about in the lead now by a couple of meters, a stride or more, and it's starting to extend even more. This is where she's so good. Really good on the stride pattern. Now she wants to hit this one perfectly well. One more barrier to go here. Femke Bol trying to stride out, and then she'll run hard off this last barrier. Just loses a little bit of momentum. Russell coming through for second, but Femke Bol all the way. 53.03. That's an excellent run. More progression for Bol. She's only run under 53 seconds 4 times in her career. One of those, of course, in the Olympic final. So that really shows you how quick that was. That is one of her best, quickest performances ever. In fact, well, on her own all-time top 10, it ranks number 5. Super run, really, really good.
Well, it was, and Femke Bol, and it's worth just reminding ourselves that she only turned to hurdling in 2019. This is still, relatively speaking, a new event for her, having been a 400 flat runner, but she makes it look so easy. Not the greatest of starts, as you hinted, but just eased herself into the race and got better and better. And then, coming into that final barrier, there's clear daylight ahead of Russell. And then it's just a question of stretching away and using that flat speed off that final barrier. 53.94 in Hengelo in very, very different conditions. And that is another excellent run there in an event. 51.61, Sid McLaughlin and Nina Nielsen, a personal best for her, the British runner, in 4th place.
Yeah, good, strong finish from Russell, and Ryshkova, as expected, 2 very experienced runners. Nielsen out in lane 9, also sticking to a task gamely, just knocked a couple of hundredths off her personal best. Bol, I think, will be so pleased with that. If you know how fast Sydney McLaughlin is going, and really, she's almost running the sort of flat speed that a lot of 400-meter female 400-meter runners would love to do on the flat. She's running that over hurdles. But Bol, all she can do is keep improving, and I think she's certainly got a little bit more to give by the time we get to the World Championships, with 53.02 her official time here tonight. 54.18 for Russell. Ryshkova with a season's best improvement for the Ukrainian. But 3 or 4 of the athletes picking up season's best, or indeed personal best in the case of the British athlete Nina Nielsen. Further progress for Rochelle Clayton, as I said, also coming back from a couple of years of injury. Confirmation of it all there. Femke Bol never the quickest out of the blocks, but just watch her get moving, and already just taking out a couple of meters out of Ryshkova outside of her, and moving nicely down the back straight, taking some yards out of Katchuk as well. So it's Femke Bol, as expected, setting the pace here. Jessie Knight trying to get involved, probably rising joint second with the 2 Ukrainians. Kloster going well in lane 3, also just changing legs there. So Femke Bol round this top bend, the smoother bends than they used to be here in Oslo, and she'll want to motor down this home straight over these last 3 flights because that's where her strength is, and looks absolutely serene at the moment. Femke Bol miles ahead of everybody else, and if you think they must be running around about 54 seconds, what's she heading for here? They stand up in the home straight, and Femke Bol trying to get to the line, keeps driving forward. Watch the clock here, it's 52.61. That beats Dion Hemming's meeting record, which has stood since 1997. And as I said, she's just raised her game this year. She's run exactly the same meet, but in each single meet, she's been quicker than she was in 2021. And she may be heading towards that sub-52 clocking. We know how good Sydney McLaughlin is. She didn't run in New York last week. There are a few question marks kicked around by Dalila Mohammed. Is she fit and healthy? We haven't seen her since Gateshead. So Femke Bol, she's the one who's racing. She's racing really well, Tim, and another superb show from her tonight.
Well, she's blown away this field. It was really her against the clock, wasn't it? That's what, a 15-metre winning margin. 52.61 is impressive, Steve. You said the least she would want out of it is a sub-53-second timing. That time, by the way, 52.61, exactly a second slower than Sydney McLaughlin's time in Nashville, Tennessee, just some 11 days ago. And I think in that race by McLaughlin, one of the barriers was in the wrong place, which certainly didn't help. I thought Bol sort of lost her stride or staggered a little bit after that final barrier, but she regained herself and kept going strongly, very strong off the final barrier, it has to be said, through to the run-in. That, as you said correctly, is her strong point. And that's just fine, Steve. With the World Championships, some 29 days away, she'll be very, very happy with that as a step up in her season.
Set.
Jessie Knight started pretty quickly, took a half a yard, maybe a metre out from Femke Bol to the first hurdle, but the two of them just about rising together. Femke Bol always builds nicely into a race, and by now down the back straight, she's already starting to just move away from the others. Also going well is Ryšková, who tried to chase her home last year in lane 4, but it's Femke Bol who really has attacked this through the first 200 metres. That speed which she showed at the National Champs last week being put to good use here. Now it's all about bringing this home, good strike pattern. She just changes down, and then Femke Bol just continues to move away from the others. Rochelle Clayton having a good race out in lane 7 as well. But look at this, Femke Bol is miles ahead. It's going to be her against the clock here. The crowd know how good she is, know how quick she ran here last year. Stumbled off that last hurdle, just going to lose a little bit. But Femke Bol, watch the clock here. It's 52.27. Takes just a tenth away. The meeting record that she set last year, well, it's tiny bits that she's improved by, and I think that would have been close to 52 seconds had she just not faltered off that last hurdle. But that was about the way she committed to the race. She really did throw everything at it this time. She knows she's in great shape. She knows she loves this track. She likes the atmosphere here as well, and has responded brilliantly. So that is actually a Diamond League record for Bol. Great run from Clayton behind her as well. That's the season's best for the veteran Jamaican. But Tim, just watch her when this one was okay, but it was that last barrier just faltered a little bit.
Yes, she attacks this, Steve, so quickly down the back straight, a bit earlier than usual. I thought she was really going for a quick time here tonight. Wins that by 12 metres, there's no doubt at all she was going to win the race. It's her against the clock, and here it is, as you said, that final barrier. Just a little, yes, almost like a little stumble to the right there, but absolutely brilliant from Bol. And a meeting record in Stockholm confirms it is special.
You know, her reaction, watch this when she crosses the line. I think she knew, watch, that was kind of one of exasperation. And then it changes. She sees the time and goes, whoa, I got a personal best anyway. So 10th of a second quicker than she ran here last year. It's not a personal best. Of course, that was at the Olympic Games where she ran 52.03. But nonetheless, she is rounding into the sort of form, might not challenge McLaughlin entirely, but she will certainly keep her honest.
Well, away they go. Who's most up to this? Quite a good start from Lena Kloster there, second to left for Norway. Also good aggressive running from Jana Woodruff there. Right in the centre, just right of centre in lane 4. She's already up on Ryšková, the Ukrainian. Nice run, a steady running too from Geneve Russell of Jamaica. Second to right at the moment. Russell goes in lane 3, looking really smooth, gradually making up progress on Woodruff. Really aggressive running from Clayton, though, in the yellow, left a picture. There is Clayton now. She's out in lane 6, the Commonwealth Games fourth placer. She might be one athlete with a point to prove. Felt she should have been amongst the medals, but it's a compatriot, Geneve Russell in 3, who's the biggest challenge at the moment. Begins to get her nose in front as the Commonwealth champion. She's had a busy time since the World Championships, but she's coming through now as Russell Clayton. It's going to be a turnaround of their Commonwealth positions. Wow. Clayton, fourth at the Commonwealth Games, where she was denied a Jamaican 1-2-3 by Van der Walt of South Africa, who took the bronze. She finished in 4th. There defeats her compatriot, Geneve Russell in lane 3, who is the Commonwealth champion, who was over in lane 3. Personal best for Clayton, 53.33. Really good running, Steve. Just the battle she needed, even though Russell was 3 or 4 lanes to her left.
Well, these two have raced each other so many times this year, going back to the Jamaican Championships, and it's been a tussle all the way through. And you mentioned that Clayton had the better of the World Championships, and then it was those fortunes reversed. Through the first 200, I thought Russell had gone really well here to try and keep a teammate in the sights. And if you're watching them, they were rising almost exactly the same time. Just watch them as they're coming into this flight here. They've got another 2 to go after this one, and it doesn't really change until off the last barrier. And you're right, Clayton got run down by, remember that Van der Welt finished so fast, the South African at the Commonwealth Games. She wasn't to be denied in the same way today. She came off the last barrier, a little bit more momentum, and managed to just get that half a metre before the line. A new personal best, as you mentioned, Tim. Season's best for Russell as well. The two of them, never much between them, but tonight Clayton gets the win.
Cleanly away, Femke Bol likes to go out hard but always reserve something for the end, and it's a good start here from Dalilah Muhammad, who's fresh in the leg. She had that hamstring injury earlier in the year, but she's made a good start and she's got Femke Bol in her sights. Are all those races in the last few weeks going to start to catch up with Femke Bol? Don't write her off just yet. All's going well is Takchuk, second from left of picture. Work to do on the inside for Knight. But Femke Bol is going to feel the presence of Dalilah Muhammad, but Femke Bol comes very, very strong in the latter stages of the race. Here they come into the final 2. We've got a faller there. Rochelle Clayton has gone. I hope she's okay. Now Femke Bol. Now Dalilah Muhammad is starting to fail badly, and Femke Bol shows all that strength. She is still fresh. 27th race of the season. Keep an eye on the clock. 52.95. It's a meeting record. Where does she find the energy? Femke Bol wins again, and the Netherlands has a new Flying Dutchwoman. She's been mentioned in dispatches in the same breath as Fanny Blankers-Koen, and with some justification. There is Rochelle Clayton, who came crashing down early in the race, but Femke Bol, who just, Steve, judged that nicely. Dalilah Muhammad was in contention down the back straight, but faded in the latter stages.
Well, I agree, Chris. You wonder where she gets it from. Actually, seemed to have bumped into her a couple of times since Munich at the airport here, and she still has that bubbly personality that everybody loves. Sadly, Rochelle Clayton clipping the penultimate hurdle, I think it was, crashed to the floor. Dalilah Muhammad, well, she did everything that she normally does. Gets out hard. You expect Muhammad to be ahead through the first 200 metres, to be ahead of Bol, and then Bol in the second half of the race always is going to be stronger. Bol herself, I don't know whether that actually put Clayton off, because she took that hurdle. That was unusual for Bol to do that. Muhammad then just disappears. We haven't really seen too much of her on the circuit this year, certainly not since Eugene either, and that's maybe telling us why. But I don't think it was going to change the result. She's so strong, so competitive. I'm told it was a coach who really threw the challenge to her about the 2 events. I don't think she kind of set out with that as a plan. Laurent Muley said, "You are that good, you can do this." And she showed him and everybody else that she's capable of that, and yet again breaking her own meeting record tonight. Just keeps getting better.